it's great to be here. You know that I've seen a few of you before, some a little too soon ago, but I'm glad to see you again, and glad to be back here in Victory Lane. It's very special to get a win early in the year when it's just such a reliever for everyone on the team and myself included to get that win in early and be able to enjoy the races and opportunities that we have instead of being stressed out about them. And you know, I think if anything, it actually lends itself to better racing. That chance that Dale and Stevie took with the 88 car was way out there, and it was a good risky move on their part because they had nothing to lose because of this format. So you know, I think that shows some of the opportunities that, you know, come up and how they can be stress-free days, and I'm looking forward to being able to take those same opportunities because, believe me, I'm not scared to take them, and I know Paul's not, so look out. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's go to this gentleman right here, and then we'll go to Michael, and then to Mark. Go ahead, sir.
Joe Spano, Sports Byline Broadcast Network. I'll put this out to all three of you. You guys got on a different pit schedule mid-portion of this race. You were running on some old tires compared to the leaders who were running on new rubber, and you didn't lose track position. How much of a surprise was that to you guys, and how much of a key was it at the back end of the race in allowing you to win this race?
Well, I mean, it wasn't really a big surprise. We kind of knew where the tires were at and how they hold up. I mean, that's part of the strategy. By no means would we have stayed out if we didn't feel like our car was good enough or the tires would hold on. So, you know, the biggest gamble there was just the fuel window. And like I said before, we're the things that have made us successful is being aggressive, and we're back and we're going to be aggressive.
Let's go to Michael, and then we'll go to Mark.
Brad, question about driving the car, you know, in traffic. Dale said that, you know, when he was back there it was tough, but once he got into clean air it was like driving a Cadillac. Joey talked about how loose he was in traffic, so wanted to ask you about your experience with that. Do you think the new rules package played into any of that? And then Paul, you missed last weekend, and you're in Victory Lane this weekend, so any temptation to skip another race?
Yeah, Paul, what are you thinking? I'd like to hear the answer to that one too. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, I don't know about skipping any races. It was a big week for me last week, and something very special that you can't compare to a race win. It's a total different feeling. I'm fortunate to have a great family that supports me, and I'm fortunate to have a great company like Team Penske behind me to know that I could leave the racetrack for such a special day for me, and we could still go out there and run like we did, and that's just a testament to everyone on this team and all the hard work we put in. So not planning on taking any more days off, though. It was tough to watch that one on TV for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the common theme throughout American motorsports. The cars continue to get harder and harder to drive in traffic as they make more downforce, and as the you know, engineers and all those guys continue to really hone in on these cars and find ways to make them create more downforce, and that's just it's something that's happening through all of motorsports, not just NASCAR. You're seeing the same thing in F1 and beyond. So you know, it's making it, you know, very difficult to drive the cars in traffic, and it makes the cars very easy to drive by themselves. So it's just part of the evolution of racing, and maybe not necessarily what we want to see happen from a fan perspective, but it's just where the competitors are taking the racing. So we'll see where that goes from here.
Go ahead, Mark.
Mark Anderson, Las Vegas View Journal. Paul said that when you realized what Dale's gas situation is like, you really need to get past the 99. Did you feel like once you did that, especially if you drove Dale hard, it was just a matter of time before you ran out and you caught him?
Yeah, passing the 99 was a huge moment for us. That gave us an opportunity to really put pressure on Dale. I felt like we could run him down, and I could tell he was saving a little bit based on the lines he was running compared to where I'd seen him earlier in the day. And so he was able to save a little bit, but once I ran up on him, with him not running his fastest line, he was running his fuel conserve line, and it once I saw that, we ran him down, I think 10, 15 laps, whatever that was, and forced him to kind of get up into his speed line, and that was just taking fuel from his car. And once that happened, I knew we were in really good shape. It was going to play out one or two ways. He was going to have to get in the fuel conservation mode, and I think I could have passed him and drove away, or he was going to have to burn fuel to keep me behind him. And at that point, it was just a matter of whether a yell came out or not, because it's just a ticking time bomb, and it worked in our favor today.
Right here. Tom? No, right here. No. Oh, sorry.
Brad, for yesterday, you were describing the chase with chasing down Kyle and holding off Kyle rather, and making sure that you compared it to a game of Tetris. What was with the roles reversed today? How was it different?
Yesterday was more about lap traffic and dealing through that. Today, lap traffic played a little bit of role, but not a significant role. That one lap, I was able to get underneath Dale, 1 and 2 here. I can't remember what lap that was. I'd gotten a little bit of help in traffic, which was, huge for us to be able to put pressure on him, and certainly, not good for Dale, but those things considered, it was definitely different being the hunter instead of the hunted, and I had fun with it both days, though.
Lewis, and then Marty Smith, and then Jim Utter.
Brad, this is Louis Frank of Auto Week and Reuters. Dale was in here earlier saying when you drove for him, you had so many questions, comments, and suggestions, some of them good. Pops Yuri kicked you out of the shop. I was wondering, could you tell us an incident and how you and Paul?
I don't remember back that far, but I know Paul's kicked me out a few times, and I think Roger's given me a couple sideways looks. But that's part of it. It's you find one that sticks every once in a while, and that's part of the fun of the sport. I love doing things that no one's done before, and that's a lot of fun for me, whether it's sending out a tweet during the middle of the Daytona 500 or trying to move on the racetrack to win a race. Those moments to me are a lot of fun, and probably the funnest moments in racing when you've done something no one else has done, because they're a significant accomplishment that no one else can really own. And we've done a few of them there, and I know we got a few more to come, but they come from all those crazy ideas, so every once in a while there's a good one.
Go ahead, Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Brad, certainly people that make it to an optimum level professionally have to have people to help them along the way. The guy sitting to your left, certainly one of those for you, but the guy you beat today, another one. I wonder if when you're trying to mow him down, if any of those thoughts enter your head, like, I am going to get to race for a win with this guy. You said before, that garage door almost closed on you. Mm-hmm. He gave you a chance. Do any of those thoughts enter your mind during that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Today, when I was thinking about it, my thought was, well, he's already won a race, so he's got nothing to worry about. That was kind of what I was thinking, and I'd have damn near wrecked him if I had to with that in mind. But it's part of the deal, and I've had a lot of fun racing with Dale over the years. This is the first time that I can recall really racing that close for the win at the end. Daytona this year, we restarted side by side on the green-white checkered, but I wasn't really there. I wasn't there when it counted, and here we were there when it counted, right? And racing like that is just that's what you live for as a driver. At least I do. Those moments where you're side by side and you lay it all out on the racetrack, and bring back the car with the tires smoking, the engine smoking, and you're worn out inside because you gave it all you had. And it was one of those races there at the end, and for it to be one of those races against someone who's provided me such a tremendous opportunity those years back, it definitely is something that I cherish even more.
Up here to Jim.
Jim Undershaw, observer for Roger. During the media tour in the off season, you were very high on NASCAR's the changes to the chase format and the knockout qualifying. Aside from the fact that your teams have been very successful so far through the first 3 weeks, do you see them benefiting? Do you see a benefit? Do you see some changes that have been good for the sport?
Well, there's no question that the qualifying sessions, we had 3 here this weekend, lots of strategy. It's right down to the one last lap in that third session has made a huge difference than just sitting watching one car go by for an hour and a half while they're qualifying. So I think that point number one, they got to check in the box. It's all about winning now, and I think the wins are so important. And once you get in that position that you've won a race, and it gives you a real good chance to be in this chase. It allows you to make your car better, as Brad said, maybe take some chances where we might not do things we do otherwise to get us better for that last run. So to me, it's interesting. We talk about teams in the NFL who might have an 8-8 record but end up in the Super Bowl and win. So I've seen a lot of talk about what can happen, and I think that's interest to the fans. And from my understanding is there's been a lot of positives about the change. I'm certainly 100% for 150%, obviously, maybe today 200 because we're in the show, and the polls certainly haven't hurt us. And I can tell you this, that our sponsors, and we have some of the best in the business, are very pro what they see here, not only for our team but also for the sport.
Let's go to a man from Albuquerque, and then to Mike.
David Swope of the New Mexico Motorsports Report on ESPN Radio 101.7, the team Albuquerque. Mr. Penske, I was curious, now that you've got the one victory in Sprint Cup, how's things coming in the open wheel program with Juan Pablo Montoya?
Well, listen, we're excited. Juan has lost about 25 pounds, so he looks like a track star now. The one thing we know about Juan, he tells it as it is. And, he's done a great job. We had a real good test at Sebring. Probably his best run here was in this past week. And to me, he's made great progress. Obviously, when we all line up, we'll find out. But, he's a racer. We've had a lot of interest, in the team. Sponsors have come to us now. And I'd say good move for him. And we think it's going to be a great opportunity for the sport as we go forward. So it's been an excellent move for us.
Let's go over here to Mike, and then I think Jeff had another question. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Roger, now that you essentially have a car in the chase, does that at all change your perspective or your approach with the other team as far as getting the 22 in, or any resource changes, whatever?
Well, we're not allowed to help each other. We learned that, didn't we, at Richmond? Right. So we're going to exchange all the information we can, between the two teams, as Paul talked about earlier, and we said we're really operating as one organization. In fact, when the cars come out of the paint shop, we really don't know which car they're going to be until put the decals on. So to me, we're going to stay consistent. Joey and Brad have built a great relationship, and believe me, the way he ran today came from the back there, was strong right at the end. I think we're going to see him in victory lane too. So that's our goal right now, to do whatever it takes, get him a victory.
Let's go to Jeff Gluck.
Brad, I know you never lack for motivation when it comes to competition, but what happened last year, winning the championship and then missing the chase, and then having some people kind of openly seem to enjoy your momentary downfall, I guess, that had to leave somewhat of a chip on your shoulder or piss you off. How much did what happened last year bother you as far as the perception? Did that add more fuel to your fire than before?
Well, it's not fun, that's for sure. For me, I wouldn't say I let the negative comments motivate me too much. I was motivated the whole time. I didn't really need any extra motivation. But I found, I guess my happy place with looking at a guy like Tony Stewart, who I still consider to be one of the best race car drivers out there, and probably one of the best of all time. And you look at him, and he won his first championship. I think it was 2002, and his next in was it 05 or 06, I can't remember. And then another one in 2011. And when you look at that, there's 3, 5, 6 years, whatever in between those. And when you look at those championships, and I think he showcases how sometimes things work in cycles. The sports world works in cycles. And we didn't have the year we wanted to have last year. I'm not afraid to admit that, and I'm definitely not going to hide from it. But we also have to be realists and know that a lot of things have to come together to win. The team has to be perfect. I have to be perfect, and a little bit of racing luck has to be going your way. And I don't think we hit either one of those three last year, but we weren't far off on any one of those three. So with that in mind, you got to just move on and realize that that's part of the cycles. Fix what you can fix. and we certainly have done a lot to address issues where we're not the best we could be. And I have personally, the team has, and obviously a little bit of racing luck today went our way. Somebody asked me here before the race. Last year we started off with I can't remember, it was a third, or fourth, a third, and a third, something like that, and a second. But we didn't get a win. And any one of those first 5 or 6 races we could have easily won, but we just didn't get any racing luck. And then in the middle of the year we had every bad racing break, And today we caught a little bit of racing luck, and we were in position to make the most of it. You can catch racing luck and be running 10th, and it doesn't really mean anything. But when you're running in the top 2 or 3, like we have been over the last few weeks, you catch a little small break, and you're there to exploit it and get a win. And sometimes you catch breaks, sometimes you make them happen. But today we were in a spot either way to capitalize on it. And like I said, kind of viewing that in that holistic approach with all those things in mind, I think I was able to move on, and I'm still able to move on. And a win today just kind of solidifies our position moving forward.
Other questions? All the way back in the back, and then we'll go to Greg Beecham.
Hi, Dominic Aragone with theRacingExperts.com. So for Brad, now that you've won a race and have virtually locked yourself into the chase, what are some other short-term goals before you reach the playoffs in September for your race team?
I want to win Indy. That'd be big. The captain here, yeah, that'd be a really big win, and Michigan would be a really big win. I'd take Bristol and California while I'm at. I mean, but there's a lot of important. We just want to get some more wins, and then obviously you got to get on steady footing once you reach the back half of the year with your cars and team to where you're just consistent front runners, so you can really get into those last 10 races and make some noise. So that's important to us as well.
Let's go right here to Greg.
Greg Beecham with the AP. Roger, what's your understanding on the reason that NASCAR took the right rear shock from the 22 yesterday?
The information I have is they checked the pressure, and they said after the race it was, and I checked it this morning, was 7 or 8 pounds more pressure in it. So they're looking at it. We showed our gauge was probably 10 pounds less than that when they did it yesterday. That's the information I have today. But obviously it's a minor issue.
Right there. Go ahead, sir.
Mark DeBello, DPC. This is Vegas. This is for Mr. Penske and Brad. The probability experts at NFLESP.com said the odds of you winning today, Brad, at 7-1. The odds of any driver winning a doubleheader at 50-1, and the odds of you winning a doubleheader at 500-1. Coming into the weekend, you and Mr. Penske.
Did you put any money on it?
No, I wouldn't be sitting here. What did you think your chances? What did you think your chances are numerically and thought-wise coming into this weekend that you'd have such a weekend?
I mean, at Team Penske, we know we're going to have great cars, and we know we're going to have a great effort in winning, almost on any weekend. So it's hard to pick one particular weekend and feel better or worse than others. But then you look at some of our track history here at Las Vegas, and it hasn't been all that great. I can remember running a couple races here. I was thinking back to my first start here in 2009 before I was driving for Roger, when I was driving for Rick. And I think it was my 3rd race ever in the Cup Series. And I remember Rick Hendrick walking up to me and he said, just run a whole race and don't wreck, and you'll have a good day. And I made it all the way to turn 3 and 4 on the first lap and wrecked. And, I had made the choice that day or that weekend to stay after with Dale Jr. After we spent the week here in Vegas afterwards. And he never invited me to do that again because I was sore and mad and didn't have any fun and didn't party or hang out at all. I was so bitter about that weekend. So, you look at it from that perspective and say, I don't have a great track record here at Las Vegas, but we sure did make it look a lot better today. And I'm sure there's other tracks that we can hopefully do the same this year.